I'm worried about this. I don't think I'm capable of doing that. Write it down. Words, sentences, whatever it is. Pare it down and then start to look at it and see, okay, how can I deal with that? How can I improve my knowledge? What would help me? You're welcome to this episode of the Mind Over Mountains podcast. Máirtín Óg here again, and thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about something that keeps coming up for clients, but ironically it does come up quite a lot actually when I'm doing some public speaking, especially at corporate events, and that I get asked about this subject quite a lot. And what I'm going to discuss for this episode is self-doubt. It's something that everyone struggles with, some more than others. So just to get started and as a way to lead into it, I just want to read a little post I did recently about self-doubt. So, in the pursuit of success with business endeavours, in your career, or personal aspirations, one of the most formidable barriers we face is the pervasive presence of self-doubt and imposter syndrome. In my work as a business advisor and strategic coach, I see many clients grappling with these challenges. I recognise the critical importance of addressing these blockages so clients can unlock their true potential. I'm no stranger to these roadblocks as I've traversed the same winding path to self-discovery and triumph. The importance of understanding yourself, navigating self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs, and overcoming imposter syndrome cannot be overstated. You must be willing to confront both your strengths and weaknesses. This is the start of your journey of growth and personal development. You must align your values, passions and aspirations with who you are now at this stage of your life and pave the way for far meaningful progress. I guide clients to unearth insights about their motivations, preferences and areas of development. Despite their talents and achievements, many individuals grapple with persistent feelings of self-doubt. These internal doubts, whether fueled by past mistakes, comparisons to others, or fear of inadequacy, can paralyze progress and hinder success. As a strategic coach, I help clients recognize and reframe these negative thought patterns. Cultivating a growth mindset is a most effective strategy by embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, helping shift away from fear and self-criticism to one of curiosity and building resilience. Celebrating successes, no matter how small, will help to internalize achievements and recognize true worthiness, discarding old, distorted beliefs and paradigms and replacing self-doubt with self-compassion and self-affirmation. I fostered resilience and self-awareness and authenticity in my own life, and I encourage and help my clients to do the same. This helps cultivate a foundation for sustainable success and fulfillment in both professional and personal lives. I found my journey of overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome fraught with challenges in the beginning, but it brought profound transformation for me. I am committed to supporting you as my client on this journey, empowering you to embrace your full potential, both personally and professionally. That was the post I did a couple of weeks ago there for people who struggle with self-doubt. And the question I get asked very often, whether it's in corporate surroundings or if I'm in a school talking to Leaving Cert students or transition years, are you ever afraid to make decisions? And it's a really good question. And my answer to that is every single decision I ever make, there's always a bit of self-doubt. There's always a little bit of self-limiting belief. Can I do this? Am I good enough to do this? Will I be able to do this? I'm not sure. Maybe I should leave it. Maybe I'm not good enough to do it. Why do I think I want to do this in the first place? I dealt with that in my book, Mind Over Mountains, and I spoke about two particular individuals that have been with me most of my life. In the book, I referenced them as Mr. Doubt and Mr. Suffer. And they were my self-doubt, and that's where my self-doubt was. They were on either shoulder, and for many of you listening to this, if you're somebody who struggles, particularly with self-limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, you too have one or two characters on your shoulders. Mr. Doubt is on one of my shoulders, and every single thing I want to do, or attempt to do, or want to change, he is in my ear, talking to me, trying to talk me away, trying to get me to change my mind, trying to get me not to achieve that goal that I want to set for myself, that change I want to make in my life. And I struggled with it for quite a long time. The other guy in my shoulder is Mr. Suffer. When I go into the gym, if I want to climb a big mountain, go off on a big cycling expedition, whatever it is, Mr. Suffer doesn't want to get out of bed. He wants the comfort, and he's constantly in my ear. So that's self-doubt that's going on for you when you're listening to this, in whatever part of your life. There is a way of dealing with it. For me, up until this day, I have to acknowledge the existence of self-doubt. When my life was turned upside down, which I referenced in my book, I had to deal with self-doubt. I had to deal with self-limiting beliefs, and I had to look deep within myself. And the way I find that works now is I acknowledge that this particular guy is on my shoulder, Mr. Doubt. And I talk to him, and I'll say to him, right, okay, thanks for the reminder. Thanks for existing. Sometimes Mr. Doubt will tell me before I cross the road, maybe, Máirtín, there could be a bus coming. And I look left or right, and there is. So 90% of the time, you don't want to hear what he has to say. But there are times when Mr. Doubt can be a good friend to have. But for people who are struggling in their everyday lives, with their confidence, with making decisions, Mr. Doubt can be really negative. And what I do, if it's a goal I set myself that I really want to achieve, if it's a change I really want to make in my life, then I'll find out as much as I can about achieving that goal. What do I have to do? What are the small steps that I have to take? What do I have to learn? Who do I have to talk to? Who can I get to help me achieve this goal? And by doing so, Mr. Doubt, who raises his head and whispers in my ear, forces me to improve what I'm doing, forces me to check out everything, forces me to prepare better, forces me to get as much information as I can. So I'd say the same to you listening to this today. Whatever you're struggling with, in your personal life, in your career, in your business, write it down, set it out clearly. What is it you want to achieve? What is it you want to change? Right, okay, I'm worried about this. I don't think I'm capable of doing that. Write it down. Words, sentences, whatever it is. Pare it down and then start to look at it and see, okay, how can I deal with that? How can I improve my knowledge? What would help me in that career change? What would help me improve my business? What would help me in my personal life make the changes that I really want to make? How can I step forward out of this imposter syndrome? Who can I get on my side that can help me? The growth and the personal development from doing it is unbelievable. But if you have a history of self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs, and imposter syndrome holding you back, you're going to struggle moving forward. We all do. I'd be saying, get somebody on board with you who's going to help you. Someone who's going to sit down and listen to you. Acknowledging that this self-doubt, that the beliefs, limiting beliefs, that they exist is the first step. Then, if you really want to do something, it can come from some comments somebody made years ago when you were a lot younger than you are now. It could have been a parent, an uncle, an aunt, a teacher, a coach that said something about you that wasn't true, but you believed it. But we all change and we all improve and we gain experience. And those limiting beliefs and those paradigms, as the Americans call them, that you worry about and that hold you back, acknowledge them, but find a way to get on top of them and use them as stepping stones to move forward. I said to a client recently who had a lot of experience and was running a really big business, but was struggling with imposter syndrome, and was he good enough? I said to him that every so often, every one of us, it's like our lives is a garden, and every so often we need to weed that garden. We're in the springtime at the moment, because there are unwanted weeds. And for somebody who's struggling with self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs, and I keep repeating it, they're weeds. There are flowers and shrubs that need attention. And that's your goals and your aspirations and your plans. You need to revitalise the soil. You need to let the good stuff, the flowers, reach for the sun. But those weeds and branches of indecisiveness, of self-doubt, they're clouding over the good stuff and the good intentions and the plans that you have. And it's about weeding them out. Because there are seeds of potential, but they need to see the light. If you're planting new seeds, if you're making new plans around the changes that you want to make, new things you want to take on, you need to weed out those old thoughts, those old paradigms, those old beliefs that are holding you back. You need to weed your garden. You need to water the soil. You need to revitalise it. Your thinking has to change. That's what I do. I acknowledge that these guys are on my shoulders, but I'll say, no, guys, I really want to push through here. I'm determined about this. I've checked this out. I'm going to go for this. I have people supporting me. I want to make these changes. So my message to you today is, if you find that self-doubt is a big issue in your life, and self-limiting beliefs and those old ways you had of approaching things that are not serving you well anymore, it's time to pull out the weeds. Revitalise the soil. Let the sun at the good seeds that are within you for those changes and those goals that you're setting. Get some support. and start that new journey. That's it. That's my message for you. Máirtín Óg with the Mind Over Mountains podcast. Thanks for listening.